The B-52 has been flying for 70 years. It has survived wars, the Cold War, and countless predictions of its retirement. On June 15, 2026, it did not survive takeoff. The U.S. Air Force called it not survivable. It was the deadliest B-52 crash in 44 years, and as of today, nobody knows why. Few machines have shaped the modern era of military aviation like the B-52 Stratofortress. Entering service in 1955, it was built for a world on edge, designed to carry out missions that spanned continents and decades. Through the Cold War, Vietnam, the Gulf War, and into the 21st century, the B-52 became more than an aircraft. It became a symbol of American endurance and adaptation. Generations of aircrews trained and deployed in its shadow, while defense analysts and critics alike predicted its retirement time and again. Yet the B-52 endured, its silhouette a fixture above airfields from Minot to Guam, its systems continuously upgraded to meet new threats and missions. What happened at Edwards Air Force Base on June 15, 2026, stands out not just for its violence, but for its rarity. In nearly 70 years of service, the B-52 had survived countless hazards and proven itself in environments far more hostile than a California test range. The loss of this bomber is the deadliest B-52 crash in 44 years. The phrase used by the Air Force, not survivable, cuts through decades of resilience and modernization. For a platform long seen as nearly indestructible, this accident is more than the loss of a single airframe. It is a rupture in the legacy of a bomber that was supposed to outlast its era. June 15, 2026. The clock at Edwards Air Force Base showed just past 11:20 a.m. as the B-52 began its takeoff roll. The morning was clear, with blue skies and a steady breeze, conditions that left little room for weather as a factor. The engines powered up, and the aircraft accelerated down the runway, heavy with test equipment but within its prescribed limits. Witnesses described a smooth liftoff, the bomber's wheels leaving the ground in a textbook climb. But almost immediately, something went wrong. Instead of gaining altitude, the B-52 began a rapid descent. In seconds, the aircraft struck the desert floor just beyond the runway perimeter. A fireball erupted, sending a column of smoke high above the base. Emergency crews rushed to the scene, arriving within minutes, but the devastation was total. The Air Force would soon call the event not survivable. No survivors were found among the 8 aboard. The airfield was closed, inbound flights diverted, and all non-essential access to the base suspended. The crash site, still smoldering under the midday sun, became the center of a fast-moving investigation. The precise sequence of failure, what turned a routine departure into the deadliest B-52 accident in 4 decades, remained locked inside the wreckage and the unreleased data recorders. What is known, the mission ended in seconds, in daylight, with no warning and no chance of escape. 8 lives were lost in the crash at Edwards Air Force Base, each one a part of a crew assembled not just from the ranks of the Air Force, but from across the broader world of American aerospace. On board were uniformed personnel, government civilian specialists, and 2 Boeing contractors, all working together on a test mission that bridged military and industry boundaries. This mix is not unusual in the world of modern flight testing. As the B-52 enters its 8th decade of service, its evolution depends on collaboration between active-duty crews, civilian engineers, and private sector experts. The presence of Boeing employees on the flight underscores how deeply industry is woven into the life of legacy aircraft. Boeing confirmed that 2 of its own died in the accident, a rare step that speaks to the gravity of the loss and the close partnership between the company and the Air Force. The Air Force has not released the names or roles of those on board, holding back such details until families can be notified. This decision reflects both policy and respect. It acknowledges the shock that radiates from Edwards through the defense community and into the homes of those who wait for news. The lack of public detail is not an oversight, but a boundary drawn out of care for the relatives of the dead. In the aftermath, what is known is both simple and stark. 8 people, drawn from different corners of the test community, gave their lives in service to a program that sought to carry the B-52's legacy into the future. Their absence is felt not only as a statistic, but as a silent gap in the network of expertise and commitment that sustains American air power. The Air Force's first public account of the crash arrived within hours. Edwards Air Force Base released a brief statement confirming that a B-52 Stratofortress had gone down shortly after takeoff. The message was direct, offering few details, but making clear the gravity of the event. In a follow-up, officials used the phrase "not survivable" to describe the accident, a blunt assessment that left little doubt about the outcome. The base immediately closed its airfield, diverting inbound flights and suspending visitor access. These steps signaled the scale of the emergency and the need to secure the scene for investigators. Colonel James Hayes, deputy commander of the 412th Test Wing, became the public face of the response. Addressing the press, he confirmed that 8 crew members had been lost and described them as great Americans. Hayes reiterated that the crash offered no chance of survival, underscoring the seriousness of the situation and the shock felt across the test community. Beyond the immediate loss, the Air Force clarified that the flight was not a routine operational sortie. The B-52 was participating in the radar modernization program, a multi-year effort to equip the fleet with the AN/APQ-188 active electronically scanned array radar. This mission was part of a series of test flights designed to validate the new radar's integration with the aging bomber. The test airframe had arrived at Edwards on December 8, 2025, after modifications at Boeing's San Antonio facility. Its presence at the base was central to the modernization effort, not daily operations. The official statements drew a line between the known facts and the many technical questions that remain unanswered. The Air Force Accident Investigation Board began its work at Edwards almost immediately, facing a scene of devastation and unanswered questions. Their task is to turn a brief, violent event into a technical explanation that can withstand scrutiny. The process starts with the recovery of the flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder, both designed to survive impacts and fire. These devices hold the aircraft's final moments, engine performance, control inputs, crew voices, all locked in digital memory. Teams also collect and transport major wreckage, sorting through twisted metal for clues about structural integrity, engine condition, and possible system failures. Every major component is tagged and moved for forensic analysis, from landing gear to flight control actuators. The investigation reaches beyond the hardware. Maintenance records are pulled to check for missed inspections or deferred repairs. Investigators examine crew training, recent duty schedules, and human factors that might have played a role. Weather data, runway surface reports, and the specific test parameters for the radar modernization program flight are all standard lines of inquiry. The board cross-references system integration documents and telemetry streams, searching for any pattern that could explain the loss. Even the tail number of the aircraft remains in dispute, with conflicting reports still unresolved by official channels. As of this documentary's release, the cause of the crash remains unknown. No mechanical, structural, engine, control system, maintenance, test configuration, or environmental factor can be ruled in or out. All such theories are speculation until the board completes its work. A preliminary report is expected within 30 days, but the final findings may take up to 6 months. Until then, the technical story of what happened at Edwards is still being written. The B-52 remains at the heart of America's long-range strike plans, with around 76 aircraft still counted as operational. Modernization efforts like the new radar and engine upgrades are designed to keep the fleet flying well into 2050, decades beyond what its original designers imagined. Yet the crash at Edwards Air Force Base has cast a spotlight on the risks that come with sustaining such an aging force. No formal policy changes have been announced, but every loss renews scrutiny of how these bombers are tested, maintained, and deployed. The findings from this investigation will carry weight, not just for the cause of a single accident, but for the safety and readiness of an entire fleet expected to deliver for another generation. 70 years of endurance met a moment the Air Force called not survivable. The deadliest B-52 loss in 44 years reminds us that even legends fall without warning. As investigations search for answers, uncertainty endures, and so does the question of how much risk we ask our oldest icons to bear.